And we're back. So, after reading a couple of comments a little while ago, I had done a video comparing the Ford Lightning to the EV Silverado work truck, and it was the Ford Lightning that I had was the standard range. It was the XLT model, and so reading a couple of the comments that you guys had sent, kind of did realize I did compare the Ford Lightning XLT to a basic work truck of the Silverado EV, and probably not a fair assessment. So anyway, lo and behold, I went to Chevy this last weekend and decided I was gonna just test drive a 2026 Chevy Silverado EV, the LT version, and it was nice. Not gonna lie, I'm actually sitting in it now. I traded in my beloved Ford and am driving around currently in my 2026 Silverado EV. So what made me change? Couple of things. One, there really isn't a comparison. The work truck Silverado, although it is a really nice vehicle, there's a lot of options that the LT model, for example, utilizes in the Silverado. Couple of quirks, which I get it. I mean, there's a massive screen in this truck, but they want you to utilize their services. So as weird as this sounds, Apple CarPlay and Google or Android Auto is no longer an option for the 2026 LT Silverado. Is it a knock? I don't know. When I use my mapping system, I am kind of picky. I like that Google image, outline, and of course the Silverado truck, when you're using the maps, it just has the standard colorful maps. It still gets you from point A to point B. I'm actually utilizing it right now, driving to one of my favorite stores out here. So any event, back on topic, the LT model. So comfort, incredible. Is it as comfortable as the Fords? It's kind of hard to say. I'm still breaking in new seats right now, but it is, I would say, a close second to this point. But the drivability, oh my gosh, it feels great. This truck has a couple of different drive modes. There's a oh gosh, they call it snow mode. They have off-road mode, and then, as funny as it sounds, and they have normal mode, of course. So there is a button that's inside the screen. That's kind of this fancy looking W in the same screen where you're picking your drive mode. And just on a hunch, I pressed it, and your speakers make this kind of loud roar. And once that's on, I learned later it's called wow mode. And if you thought these trucks were fast before, tap the wow mode, and it's definitely a nice little turbo feel when you're wanting to really press on the gas. So not something I'll utilize all the time, but definitely a little fun option if you want to bring out the little kid in you. But anyway, the comfort's great. All the features, offers heated seats. I'm not sure about the air-conditioned seats, if there is a way to do it. I don't know how, but you do have the heated seats. It's a nice, comfortable interior. The cab is extremely large, definitely much more room in the back than the F-150 Lightnings. And, but overall, a lot of things you could kind of compare. The actual drive, cruising down the freeway, man, as much as I loved the Fords, this is very, very close. I have not taken a long drive yet. I've been driving this vehicle for less than a week now, but it's really comfortable. And then the huge plus, and I have taken it on the freeway a couple of times to really notice something, and this is what blows me away. So my Ford Lightnings, again, standard range, you know, and it was quoted at 240 miles of range per charge, which, you know, that might have been a little exaggeration. When you were on the freeway, I was probably closer to 175, 180 miles if I was trying to keep up with California traffic at 70, 75 miles an hour. If I bumped it back to 65, I could maybe get a little closer to the 240, but this is where the Silverado shines. This Silverado EV, I brought it on the freeway. Again, I've only taken like an hour trip here and there, but even at 75 miles an hour, sometimes going 80, it doesn't lose any range. You know, right now I'm at 80% and I have 333 miles remaining, which, you know, is pretty good. Projected wise for the 2026 models, I have the extended range pickup, which is 410 miles of range. They also offer a max range, which it's somewhere closer to 500 miles or something crazy, but 410 is perfect for me. And then knowing that even at freeway speeds, and now this can be taken as a grain of salt, but one thing that the Chevy salesman had told me is that when they do their range projections, for this case 410 miles, they're taking these vehicles at speeds between 75 miles an hour and 82 miles an hour. And they're able to manage this. Now, the reason why I believe him is somebody, you can Google it, somebody had actually taken the Chevy Silverado EV extended range. I believe it was the 2025 model. They drove it 25 miles an hour and they were able to get over 1,000 miles on a single charge. So again, I believe it, because even when I'm driving normal California speeds, this thing, it doesn't hiccup at all. And I can vouch for that too. My work truck is a 2024 Silverado EV. And gosh, I drove last time from El Centro, which is the very bottom of California near Mexicali. And I drove that back up to the high desert. And, you know, again, keeping up with regular freeway speeds. I did charge it to 100%. I'll do it every once in a while for a long drive. If, you know, I'll charge it up right before I'm going to take off. And I got all the way up to the high desert. Most of that drive is a gradual uphill. And I made it with no problem. I still had 49% remaining, which, if anybody's driven that drive, all of it is a gradual uphill. And then, of course, the final step going into the high desert, you take the Cajon Pass, which is a pretty steep hill also. And got up here, no problems. My range, nothing dropped at all. These things, they're amazing. So for those who made the comments of, you know, I should maybe try a different truck than the work truck if I'm going to do a fair comparison, thank you. You actually helped me get into a new EV. And as far as our other Ford Lightning that we had, my wife's truck, she ended up bringing that one into Chevy. Chevy had a lot of incentives this last weekend. Otherwise, the deal wouldn't have worked, because I was pretty upside down in the two Fords. But she ended up trading in her truck, the XLT Ford Lightning, and ended up getting into a Blazer EV LT model. Hers was the 2025, and again, she absolutely loves it. The comfort is pretty on par. Maybe Ford takes it. If you're comparing it to the Ford Lightning, Ford Lightning comfort is maybe a little bit better. Now, if you're comparing the Ford Mustang Mach-E to the Blazer, I'd say the Blazer has the comfort hands down. And the other thing that's amazed me so far with the Blazer that my wife drives, So she ended up taking a trip down to Disneyland and back. And same thing, she cruised at normal freeway speeds. Didn't lose a hitch. And I think the sticker said that total range is 316 miles. And all the driving that my wife has done between the Disneyland trip and then here and there, you know, when you're doing the math on it, she's actually closer to about 330 miles of range, which again is very, very incredible. I don't know what Chevy did with the batteries and what they made them different. I mean, of course, the sizes are up there, but I really don't know what to compare the Mustang Mach-E, the standard range battery. I don't know what size that is. Maybe somebody could chime in and let me know. But hers, I want to say it's 85 kilowatt hours of, 85 kilowatt hours of space. And the 330 miles is, I mean, it's nothing. And again, she drove where we live. You go down the Cone Pass all the way down into Disneyland. Granted, it's a lot of downhill up to the point of Disneyland, but then on your way back, it's the complete opposite. So you would think things would balance out and you'd start losing range, and she didn't lose a thing. So at this point, I'm actually pretty sold on Chevy. Ford makes a great truck, and I'll still say it again, they'd be a lot of competition if they could come out with a 400 to 500 mile range truck. But for what you spend on their version of extended range, which is 320 miles, it's hard to make sense out of that when you can get into a nice LT like this one. I mean, I have nice leather seats, large screen right here. This really hits everything that you would want. The options in this truck are incredible. Of course, not while you're driving, but you know, for those that like to park and sit in their vehicles, I guess, you can actually watch YouTube on your truck. You can watch Prime Video. You just download the apps and you watch away. But aside from that, I'm in love with these trucks. I never thought I'd get rid of my Ford Lightnings, but thanks to a few comments and a little compulsiveness on my part, good deals on the part of Chevy for Labor Day, Ford's gone. So anyway, just wanted to update you guys, and if you get a chance, try to check out the Lightnings if you're still in the market or you're still unsure about getting an EV. Again, I was a huge doubter. I don't think I'll ever go back to gas vehicles again, and that's really tough for me to say. Especially losing my diesel I talked about in one of the videos, but God, you just can't beat the convenience, you know. I can drive by every gas station. I don't have to worry about it. You know, a little bit of electrical knowledge, you can build your own 240 station in your house. Your electric bills really don't go up like what I had thought. No, I mean, maintenance free, literally. And for the most part, with the discounts you get from the electric companies, you're pretty much driving for free. Aside from a long trip where you go out of town, of course, you'll stop at a few superchargers at that point. But it is what it is. As far as charge times, again, reading the comments, and of course, I looked into it. Even the work truck has the thing, but I told you guys before how the EV work truck was taking forever to charge. Well, if you go into the battery logo, which is the little Lightning screen, or little Lightning logo, you tap that, you get into the battery screen, then you hit the little wheel, which is the settings icon, and a bunch of options pull up. And one of the options is to precondition your battery for supercharging. And you'll do that about 30 minutes before you get to a supercharger, and boom, it makes a world of difference. The last time I think I went all the way down to 7% on the work truck. Long drive, didn't charge it enough before I took the long drive, and I hit that thing before I got to the top of the hill, and it took me 30 minutes to get from 7% all the way back up to 80%. And the charger was pushing over 310 kilowatts. I think for the first 15 minutes or so, it was really pushing fast. So they did something right with the Chevys also on the battery. They give you the option to precondition it before you arrive, and it's as simple as just hitting a couple of buttons and you're good to go. So anyway, let you guys go. Thanks for checking in, those who do watch it, and I'll be back again for probably another review. But for now, I'm just going to keep making excuses to drive around and have a good time. All right, we'll talk to you guys later.